Hey guys, I'm Melchi and welcome back to my channel. In the last 6 weeks, we have discussed topics from winning friends. Some of us find it easy to adapt into a new environment and hook conversations, while some of us find it challenging to win friends and be a part of a group. Winning friends focuses on ways we can build social skills and strengthen relationships by reshaping some of the essential practices. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie and Winning with People by John C Maxwell are fantastic books to read to know more about people skills. As a recap, the topics we discussed in the last 6 weeks were: look beyond your assumptions. Assumptions prevent us from taking the first step. People feel your attitude. People may not remember what you do, but they sure will remember how you made them feel. Power of empathy. Empathy enables us to sustain long-term relationships. Add value to people. We cannot have a fulfilling life by thinking of people as obstacles we must overcome. Building bonds. Collaboration is an important skill that will help us to be successful in all parts of our lives. For instance, classroom and sports. Finally, anatomy of peace. Some ways to approach a conflict without engendering another one is to focus on win-win situations, analyze ourselves first before blaming the other person, and comprehend both sides of the argument. Following these practices will enable us to win more friends. Oprah Winfrey said, "Lots of people want to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down." We all want friends who will be with us during our ups and downs. And it's important to have friends like that so we can feel like there's someone we can rest on. Today, let's explore looking beyond your assumptions. Henry Winkler asserted, "Assumptions are the termite of relationships." We never know what's happening on the inside just by looking at the outside. We may think something's happening, but what is actually happening may be completely different. Our brains look for patterns, or as scientists call them, mental models. Other times, assumptions are behaviors we learn from our families and cultures. Did you know it takes us only 7 seconds to start creating assumptions about a person? John C Maxwell talks about a principle called the lens principle. Who you are determines how you see everything. A traveler named Jeff once went to a village. There was a man by the entrance. Jeff asked this man, "What is this village like?" The man asked Jeff back, "What is your village like?" Jeff replied, "The people are horrible. They don't have any manners." The man replied, "You will find this village to have people that are horrible and don't have any manners." Another man named Andy stopped by. Andy asked the man by the entrance the same question, "What is this village like?" The man asked Andy back, "What is your village like?" Andy replied, "The people are kind and generous." The man replied, "You will find this village to have people that are kind and generous." This is a modified story from the book Winning with People. If we wear blue tinted glasses, everything we see would be blue. Next time, before we start creating assumptions, let's take off our tinted glasses. People feel your attitude. Winston Churchill said, "Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference." People may not remember what we do, but they sure will remember how we made them feel. Our attitude defines us. What does attitude mean? Attitude comes from the Latin word posture, which means how we represent ourselves. John C Maxwell said, "Your attitude will make or unmake you. It's not a result of your birth or circumstances. It's all a choice." He further talks about 3 types of attitudes: the arrogant attitude, the naive attitude, and the teachable attitude. People with an arrogant attitude believe that no one can teach them anything and they know everything. People with a naive attitude believe that someone can teach them everything. People with a teachable attitude believe that everyone can teach them something. What should we do to have a positive and teachable attitude? When we have a positive attitude, we look at the world positively. That does not mean smiling through gritted teeth and saying everything is going to be all right without truly believing in it. It's hard to have a positive attitude during the time of adversity. But when we do have a positive attitude, we can learn new things. Our attitude will help us to be courageous, be determined, have sincerity, and find happiness. I would like to end with a quote by Oprah Winfrey. "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his life by merely changing his attitude." Empathy and sympathy are often grouped together, but they're different. Brené Brown describes, "Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection." Being empathetic but not sympathetic can be confusing. Ian McLaren asserted, "Be kind, for everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about." When we are being empathetic, we open up ourselves to helping others. But that doesn't mean understanding everyone's problems. Being empathetic, we can build lifelong relationships. What are some characteristics of an empathetic person? Empathetic people can see the world as others see it. This requires us to set aside our thoughts and feelings and look at the point from another person's side. Empathetic people are non-judgmental. They do not approach the situation with their morals. Judgmental people can easily create assumptions because they're trying to protect themselves from the pain. Finally, empathetic people are understanding and can communicate the understanding. They communicate the understanding by saying, "I know how it feels," or "I've been there before." Whereas non-empathetic people would say, "At least yours isn't this bad. It could have been worse." When we're being empathetic, we realize the value of acceptance and being heard. We also recognize the strength and courage it requires to be vulnerable and seek for empathy. Professor Simon Baron-Cohen said, "Empathy is a skill like any other human skill. If you get a chance to practice, you can become better at it, adding value to people." I was looking at my 4th birthday pictures and videos. and I noticed there were a lot of quotes in the ballroom. One of the quotes was by Albert Einstein. Don't try to become a person of success. Try to become a person of value. What does it mean to add value to people? It means having the intention to serve others, wanting to enhance and enrich the quality of their lives. We do not care about how they treat us, but we always make them feel loved and important. John C Maxwell is an author that frequently talks about adding value to people. I'm going to use 2 of his books as guidelines to help us find ways to add value to people. How should we do it? We must stop looking at people as obstacles we must overcome. Instead, we should look at them as assets. Not only should we value people that we are close to, we should value everybody we meet. We cannot give what we do not have. We must have value if we want to add value. When we understand and relate to what others value, it becomes easier for us to help them. How should we achieve this? Think, look, do, and encourage. Think of ways you can add value to people. This could be as simple as saying, I'm going to smile at the first person I see. When we have an idea in our brain, we naturally find ways to execute it. We should not stop there. We should do it. One of my favorite quotes by John Wooden is, don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me. In a small way or big way, in private or public. Just do it. Once we start cultivating this habit, we will encourage others to join us in the journey of adding value to people. Someone once said, individually, we are each one color. Together, we make a rainbow. Today, we're going to discuss building the bonds. Building the bonds will help us in various parts of our lives, like classroom, sports, and after school. Do we understand that we ought to be good team players if we want to build the bonds? Working in a team can sometimes be annoying and even irritating when there are different perspectives. But we have to remember that no one has ever achieved anything great alone. What should we do to become better team players and, bonus, make the best out of our teams? Communicate, delegate, efficiency, ideate, and support. When we communicate with the team, we resolve conflicts and understand each other's perspectives. Delegation is knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses and using the strengths to benefit the team. Efficiency is being able to sort out the workload so deadlines are easier to meet. If you would like more tips on that, make sure to check out my video, Get More Done in Less Time. Ideate is where everything starts, but it's crucial to respect each other's ideas and create a safe place. Finally, supporting and encouraging each other is what makes teamwork feel fun and like a family. Mahatma Gandhi said, "An eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind." We all have been a part of conflict before. Smaller ones get resolved over time, while larger ones tend to leave a scar. We believe that our perspective is the right one, but that may not be the case. Unresolved conflict can be held on as a grudge for a long time. Josh McDowell states, "It's more rewarding to resolve a situation than to dissolve a relationship." We do not approach conflict because we're uncertain of the other person's response, but by giving it a shot, we might get a worth it result. Some ways to approach conflict is by focusing on win-win situations, identifying our flaws, and understanding each other's perspectives. Win-win situations allow both parties to get what they want. It's crucial that we identify our flaw before blaming the other person. If we take a break and come back to it, we can easily find out what we did wrong. However, we must go to that person, tell them our mistake, and apologize. In conclusion, understanding each other's perspectives makes it easier to resolve conflict together. Let's practice the anatomy of peace.